back, Comic YOUniverse, to another comic review. Another comic provided to us by our good friend from the channel, Mount Vernon Kid. Chris, know you're watching. Thank you again. And today, I'm going to be doing the last three volumes of Darkhorse's Comic X by Dwayne Drzezinski and Dustin Nguyen. Yeah, this comic, the first three volumes, I've done previous reviews on a few months ago on the channel. You guys can go back and check those out. This is the last three, the next three reviews are pretty much the last three volumes of the comic series, because it only ran for about 25, 26 issues. Yeah. So, it's kind of like 6 seasons, really. It's like 6 seasons of a show that I don't think anyone watched. Because when you bring up X, even Dark Horse fans are like, I'm sorry, who? So, yeah. So, for those of you who are just tuning in, let me tell you a quick rundown of the character of X. Now, X is a character who lives in the mythical city of, the made-up city of Arcadia, and he's waging a one-man war on crime, and it's become violent. He has an ally named Lee Ferguson, who is this blogger, this news reporter turned blogger, and she is like his sidekick slash hostage, because X is out of his goddamn mind. And imagine if Batman became the Punisher. That's what we're looking at. So the Grim Knight. So the fourth volume deals with the events of what happened in the third volume, in which one of X's enemies, Carmine Tango, has captured X, more or less beat Lee into forcing her to go to the authorities and saying that he was a criminal, and now X has now got to build himself up from the ground up once again. So this comic just basically blows through everything that the storyline had done. The previous volume left so much of a cliffhanger, with another character named Deathwish who want X to kill him. All of this just kind of feels like, yeah, it doesn't matter. Because it turns out Carmine Tango is not the big villain we're building up to. It's this villain named the Archon, who is this very right-wing, very, racially empowered dictator of a small country, and even then, he's basically the villain of another lesser-known Dark Horse character called the Mark, who shows up in Volume 6, so we'll get to him there. So if anything, this kind of just blows past everything that we saw in Volume 3 in the third volume, Siege, and just kind of goes on its merry way of just doing its own of just trying to build up to the final volume. And oh boy, do I have things to say about Volume 6. Anyway, so this storyline essentially is X getting back at Carmine, and then running into the Archon, who is pretty much, and also his group called the Chosen, who are these, again, pretty much these neo-Nazis who act as Punishers. Imagine if the Punisher had an army of neo-Nazis. Those are the Chosen. Again, villains from this other Dark Horse hero called the Mark, who, again, it feels weird that, they aren't really... Well, then, to be fair, X, even in the previous incarnation in the 90s, X didn't really have a rogues gallery of his own. So, I guess they just needed something, and I guess Dwayne Drzezinski wanted to spin out the Mark from this. Didn't turn out that way, but whatever. Anywho, so yeah, it feels like in just one issue, we completely, overlook everything. And also Lee's story with now working for the feds doesn't even feel, like that. It feels more, and also, can I just say, Dwayne Drzezinski, you just don't know how to write female characters. You really don't, because everything with Lee Ferguson in the third volume was her dealing with all of the being traumatized by Carmine Tango and his basically his goons, like Gamble and Ella and his new ally Deathwish, and that's, it's all of that consistent brainwashing that made her betray X. And then, she also makes this thing of, yeah, Carmine's, fucked me up, but it was X's fault, and, yeah, so, it feels weird. And also, it's even weirder that they don't really give a clear explanation for her, you know, suddenly feeling like, oh, I need to go back to, you know, I need to go back to X's side at the end, even though at the same time she's like, yeah, I still want to see you punished. So there's no real clear definition there. But the other main thing is that this is a gory book. This is a violent book. But I'm starting to feel like the wheels were coming off for Dwayne Drazinski's run towards this volume. So I was kind of like, I don't know if you can build up to everything in here. I feel like it was just like, then what was the point of Volume 3? That was my biggest thing in here, was that, what was the point of Volume 3? There are some pretty good kills in here. There are some pretty awesome kills. X remains a badass, but it feels weird, you know, it kind of feels weird that we've just in one issue, we underdid everything that was built up in the third volume. So, I don't know. But anyway, there's my review for Volume 4, which is called Better Off Dead. I forgot to mention that. Yeah, the fourth volume is called Better Off Dead. So anyway, so you guys tell me in the comments below if you've read X, any comic from X. Just comment below, let us know. And if you're new here, remember to Hulk smash that subscribe button and be a part of Earth's Mightiest Subscribers. I'm DPZ, and we will see you right here once again in the universe.